Biati, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing the breakdown for the full moon in Leo that is happening on February 5th. So we're gonna dive in and look at all of the messages. The messages are very in your face, so I hope you're ready for this breakdown. But before we get started, I just want to remind you guys that on Valentine's Day, it's the last day to use the code Valentine's 2023 in all caps to get 22% off all of my services. So if you need a reading, energy healing session, a past life reading, whatever it is, just check out my website down below to see the sessions. Also, don't forget to grab your tickets for the Herbalism Part 2 workshop, which is going to focus on working with the element of water. So we're going to be breaking down how we use water with herbs medicinally and spiritually. So we're going to go over foot washes, we're going to go over spiritual baths, we're going to go over yoni steaming, we're going to go over decoctions, we're going to go over so many different things. It's going to be a very educationally intensive class, so definitely make sure if you want to come through, if you missed part 1 and you want to see part 1, it's still available on the Patreon. As you guys know, I don't like to do workshops for no reason. If I'm teaching something, I'd rather it's something that you can still access later. So it's still available on Patreon on the High Priest level, which is one of the perks of being a patron. On the High Priest level, they get access to all of my past workshops, so you can binge if you wanted to. Anyway, we're gonna dive in and talk about this full moon, which is gonna be amazing. There's a lot of a little sauce here and there, but we have a lot of messages coming through from spirit, so we're gonna just dive in. As always, we're gonna start with the planetary positions because I need y'all to know where the planets are. Okay, so the sun in Aquarius, moon will be in Leo, Mercury will be in Capricorn, Venus will be in Pisces, Mars will be in Gemini, Jupiter will be in Aries, Saturn will be in Aquarius, Uranus will be in Taurus, Neptune will be in Pisces, and Pluto will be in Capricorn. So we are out of retrogrades, out of retrograde season for the most part. We're in a clear, in a state of clarity. Planetary wise, there's definitely a lot of air energy. I feel like the chart is pretty balanced with all of the elements right now. We have a little bit of fire, we have a little bit of water, we have a little bit of air, we have a little bit of earth. I feel like we're a little bit balanced. There's definitely a little bit more earth than anything else, but for the most part, I do feel like there's a little bit of a balance with the elements right now, which might feel a little nicer to some people. Now we're starting off boom with the major aspects. Sun will be in an opposition to the moon. Aquarius and Leo energy opposites each other because they're opposite signs. So there's definitely still an individualistic focus when it comes to the personal journey. There's still, feeling of what you're emotionally feeling, kind of battling your ego a little bit. However, because the moon is in Leo and Leo is the sign that rules over the ego, it does amplify what you really want, what you really need, but also where you're emotionally and intuitively feel like you need to be going, right? So the energy itself can feel conflicting with making decisions during this time, but it's definitely purposeful. Now with Leo energy, especially full moon in Leo, be mindful splurging or purchasing, or when it comes to overspending and stuff like that. You can definitely use this time to treat yourself. Again, Leo energy amplifies the ego, because it rules that. It rules the ego, it rules the willpower, your inner child, your playfulness. So you might feel like treating yourself, which is totally fine, but just don't do anything that you might regret. That's the key. Don't do anything you might regret later. But you might, splurge and do a little something. I say this as I just bought my flight to Puerto Rico today, having a Leo in the first and the second house. Are we surprised? We're not surprised. You're surprised? No. Anyway, so it's a really important time to make sure that you are self-caring. Self-caring is your number one right now. Self-caring might look differently for everybody, but it is important for you to self-care during this time. That includes when it comes to having your own back and holding your feet to the water with the things that you want, moving forward with like the things that you're willing to fight for. Especially one of the themes for last year was holding your vision. The things that you're still holding your vision for are super, super important. So don't give up on those things. They're super important, okay? And it's important for you to continue to make sure that you're in a place where you're okay, but you're not letting go of your dreams, letting go of your goals, that you're still, you know, applying and putting in the effort for what it is that you need and want. But there just might be some conflicting feelings with what you might need in the moment or how you're applying it. And with the Leo energy kind of wanting you to like push a little farther and reach a little bit deeper and kind of feed your ego a little bit, which is totally fine if you need to do it, but just be mindful of doing something you might regret later. Just make sure you're not doing that. Okay, like I don't regret the flights I bought today. Anyway, you guys will know about it later. Anyway, the sun will be in a trine with Mars. This is beautiful for action wise. And this is what I mean by when it comes to feeding the ego, when it comes to doing something that you actively want to do, there is a streamlining of the ego wanting to do something, and then that energy and the action being used through that Mars energy in a very solid place. It's just that the moon and Leo energy might, you know, make you like take it an extra mile, or instead of doing like instead of wanting like just a basic thing, you might want to the deluxe thing, or instead of wanting the base level, you might want to treat yourself to the higher thing, whatever it is. So it's one of those things where you have this moment of action towards the thing, like very quickly. You might find yourself doing something that you've been meaning to do for a while, that you know is going to make you feel good, but you know it's the thing that you actively need to invest on. So there is this sense of enough, like I'm going for what I want, I'm going to put in the energy, I'm going to do the thing, like I'm doing it, I'm gonna do it. The sun will also be in a square with Uranus, so there is this energy of unexpectedness. This might literally come out of the blue. You might be like focusing on something else, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're pushed into a kind of a situation with choices, like what would you do, what are you gonna do about this, like in that kind of way. And so there's definitely a focus on your individuality. You might also do something that's outside of others as well, like it's for you, it's not necessarily for others, it's like it's for you. Don't forget, Aquarius season, Aquarius energy rules your individuality, okay, and how you relate to others. But there's a reason why they detach first, okay, because they need to focus on themselves first before they can give energy to others, okay? So keep that in mind. Might be a time where you're focusing on yourself. This might be a time where you're focusing on others. You might do something for others during this time as well. You might do an investment or do something for others during this time that's just benefiting someone else out of your own ego as well. But you might find that right now you're definitely doing a little bit more of a focus on yourself, especially because Leo energy is very singular. Even though it loves connecting with others, it is a very singular, aware sign where it's just like me, 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 me. So yeah, there might be some unexpected me moments that are needed, that are still needed. Like you've been needed to do it, so it's fine. You also have the moon in a square with Uranus, so there is definitely like these moments of conflicting, like, oh my gosh, should I do it? I kind of want to do it, but should I don't know, should I, would I, I want to though. Like there's like this kind of like inner battle of like like kind of those moments where we're just like deciding on what we want to do, and they're valid, so just hold space for those moments. It's okay, like if you're feeling that way. Just make sure that you accept the choices that you're making, and you accept like the little bit of chaos that's happening as well, because you might be given these choices out of some random stuff, and it might not be a bad thing. Like you get put in a situation, like it might not be like a really bad thing. It might just be like, hey, so this opportunity just came up for you, like what would you do, what's your choice here? And then you might just need to kind of sit on it a little bit and see what you want to do, which again is totally fine. Chaos happens through Aquarius season in a very individualistic way before it hits collective energies. So if you need to do something for you, that's totally valid. Sit with it. It's okay. It's totally okay. Mercury will be in a conjunction with Pluto, so verbally and communication wise, our words are packing a punch. Okay, certain things might trigger some transformation, some very deep truths might come out during this time. If they've been needing to come out for a while, you might get some downloads, some messages, or some communication, some breakthroughs as well. You might also see breakdowns in relationships, or like something that happens that triggers a huge change that been needed to happen, like the words needed to be said and it needed to be applied ASAP. So you might see a lot of changes in that way when it comes to not only what's been unconscious in your mind, but bringing that up into your consciousness so that you can actually be aware of what's going on and what you're going to do about it, right? So keep that in mind. Also, Venus will be in a square with Mars, so the energy can be a little bit spicy, especially when it comes to relationships. There might be some arguments or some, so it's a great time for makeup. I can't say the word because I will get banned from YouTube, but you know what I'm saying. You should know what I'm saying. Great time for that. Great time to also do some sensual or some release work down there. It's also a great time to work with your solar plexus because Leo does rule the stomach. So great time to work with your solar plexus and do some healing, especially if you've been feeling like blocked with your energy, or like feeling like you haven't been able to make choices for yourself, or you've been compromising, or you've been like giving a lot of your energies to others and you just need like a you full moon. And this is a you full moon. Okay, this is what it is. And Leo, it would be a Leo full moon for you to like be like, okay, pause. Which is fine. Again, this is like that check-in, but there is a little bit of a fighting kind of energy. There is a little bit of a passionate energy. You might be feeling extra heated during this time. Don't forget, it is a fire full moon. Okay, but Venus square Mars can make things a little spicy. Like, why is it so spicy, right? Like the sound. Definitely feeling, very in the moment as well, with your needs. So also be communicating on what it is that you need. Leo energy can also be very needy. I say this as a Leo rising, like I already know, but it can be very needy in like again, because it's your ego, it's your inner child. You always feel like you need something or like want something. What is it that you want, right? So you might be, feeling a little bit more like feeling yourself. A great time. Again, I already told y'all that Aquarius like season itself leans into doing like a bit of a makeover, or like feeling like changing, your hair color or your outfit or your like wardrobe or whatnot. Like you might feel like doing a complete shift. And that's totally valid. And Leo energy, that Leo full moon is just going to amplify that. So okay, now with that said, let us look at the cards. So for the cards, we are getting the Five of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, and we are getting the Emperor in reverse. So there's a part of us, some of us are actively waiting for Aries season to come through to get back on track with some of the things. Some of you are worried about your finances. Some of you are worried about your like some investments, certain things that you've put time in that haven't panned out the way you wanted it to pan out long term. And so there's been, if you feel like somebody else has been lacking, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be, in some commitments that you had, whether it be work, whether it be like you were promised that you were going to get promoted and you still haven't, you might be reevaluating like leaving, or the airplane. You might be reevaluating like leaving or making a shift, making a change, and doing a different commitment. And I say this because we also have the Wheel of Fortune, the Eight of Wands, and then the Two of Wands. So some of you are making big changes or are planning to make big changes and thinking about, doing things a little bit different, not necessarily allowing others or certain things that were previous commitments but haven't panned out the way you wanted them to continue to kind of take from your energy and your time and your space the same way that they have. You might be feeling like it's time for, you know, a little change. Again, that's that Uranus energy. You might be feeling like it's time to do things a little bit different, or to remake some different commitments that make more sense to what you need now, moving forward. Like moving forward, it's like when you write that email, or when like moving forward, this is what I expect, or this is what I'm going to do, or this is what the focus in, because at the end of the day, I need the energy to change. Like some of you are tired of feeling kind of stuck in the energy that you have been in for so long, and now it's kind of like you're rolling with the energies as they're moving through, and you're just like, okay, I can't do this. We got to go into the, like, what's next? What are we doing? Let's go. Let's get from point A to point Z. Hilariously, we got a lot of like full moon cards, which was fun. So we got full moon and healer. Okay. Full moon and healer. And then we have relief. Part of this process, part of you shifting the energy and accepting the change that needs to happen, it's going to actively work to heal you from the things that have been actively taking up a lot of space. And again, not following through with the way that they should have been following through. So now things are going to start to pan out. Now it's like, okay, you were made certain promises, or certain, you know, you were promised a couple things that you haven't gotten, and now it's the time where you're like, okay, we need to have a conversation, right? And so it's time to, you know, heal the time that hasn't, you know, not only bring things to a closure, but also heal yourself from the disappointment, heal yourself from, you know, the feeling like you lost time, or you're like you were stuck, or feeling like you were ungrounded a little bit within your own energy and needing to change that. Then we have trust your own nobility, trust in your dreams, because we're still getting, you know, the hold that vision energy. Pursue what you need. Okay, this is it. Pursue what you need. This is it. This is the card. This is the card. This is the full moon and Leo card. Pursue what you need. Sunshine, prosperity, and love. Like that's really like that's literally, and it's funny because this is like hunting. So you see how he's catching the worm. Like there is a go for it energy. There's a fight for it. There's a, oh, you made a decision. Let's go. Let's do it. Do it. That's it. That's literally the energy. But it's gonna lead to that, like, again, that joy, that Leo energy of sunshine, of prosperity, and of love, like really wanting it all. Like we said what we said. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's do it. Then we have discover, spot new opportunities, because that Wheel of Fortune is going to shift the energy. I recommend doing a road opening for this specific full moon. Do a road opening. It's a great time, fire energy, great time to do a purification spell. You're also getting, again, full moon energy. So protect your energy and hold your stars close. Again, hold that vision, hold that light. Then we have light without the dark would never see the stars. And then the bottom of the deck for this is trust the light in you cannot be dimmed. You are the sun. When it comes to like Leo energy, you are the sun, and you need to focus on your sun energy. You need to focus on your light. You need to like sit with it, allow yourself to glow, allow yourself to shine. Okay, full moon. And focus on getting back on track. That is the key. Okay, that is the messages that I'm getting for the full moon. I love you guys so much. Quick shout out to all the patrons and everybody who has just been my rock lately, because it's been a little bit crazy, but I love you guys. I cannot wait to share all the things that are coming soon, and I will see you guys in the next video.